Welcome to Screen Riot, the show where we let fate choose the movie we review. This week's movie is 2014's animation Big Hero 6. Obviously, this episode will contain major spoilers, so if you don't have the movie, it's streaming on Disney Plus and Stars, and available to rent on iTunes, Amazon Prime, and more for $2.99. Go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
So welcome to another edition of Screen Riot. This is episode 10. We've actually hit double digits.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Episode 10.
Yeah, so congratulations, us. You could also congratulate us if you go to our Patreon and sign up.
Oh, that'd be awesome, yeah.
That would be nice.
It would be awesome.
Or go to AmericanPodcasting.net and visit our merch store and check out some cool Screen Riot stuff. So, again, like John said, this is Big Hero 6. That was your pick for the animation genre. And if you want to give us a quick synopsis of what Big Hero 6 is all about.
The synopsis is basically it's pretty simple. It's basically a coming of age story about a 15-year-old boy who lives in the fictional town of San Fran's Tokyo, San Fran's Tokyo, and he ends up losing his brother in an accident, and through robotics, he's able to outfit six heroes, including a robot named Baymax, who is a medical unit that his brother actually built.
Yeah.
I wish they had some of those today, honestly.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
Like, at that caliber.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because, they have robots now, but they're, like, barely can walk upstairs and open doors and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting watching some of those things.
So you have a little one at home.
Oh, I do.
So I'm
I
sure
do.
you've probably seen this many times.
I have seen this at least 15 times.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would say.
Eddie, you've got little ones.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure you're the same way, probably.
Same number. What's funny, though, is I can't remember their names. Like, I remember Hiro.
Right.
And
You have
after
Wasabi.
that, it gets a little gray.
Yeah, one is Wasabi, one is Go-Go.
One is Skater Chick.
Robert.
Which I think is Go-Go.
Oh.
I think, Skater Chick's go.
And
One's like Honey Ginger.
Honey Lemon.
Honey Lemon.
Honey Lemon.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I can't remember
They're all
the names.
nicknames.
And Fred.
Oh, yeah, and Fred.
Fred.
Yeah.
I
Who
think
is voiced by T.J. Miller.
Right.
Yes.
I kind of picture Justin being Fred, just because he was
could
the
be
one
Fred.
that I love the costume that Hiro made for him.
Yes.
It's just like,
I'm a dragon.
yes, I can blow fire. It's so great.
I like how he's secretly wealthy, though. I think that's like
Oh,
Justin,
yeah.
too. Like, he's
Well,
secretly... Like,
Oh yeah, did you figure out who his parents were?
No.
No.
Did you watch the end credit scene?
I watched
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
so.
of it, but not
Well,
the whole
you
thing.
didn't-
Or you didn't even have to watch the end credit scene.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, whenever they got to Fred's mansion and they're walking to his room or whatnot, there's a portrait on the wall of him, his mom, and his dad is Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's so into comic books and all.
Yes.
Right. Well, which is fitting
Okay.
because Big Hero 6, and I didn't know this, Big Hero 6 was actually a 3-part Marvel miniseries in 1998
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
a 5-part miniseries in 2008.
No, I didn't know that either.
Well,
So I saw the portrait that you're talking about, and I was like, oh, that guy looks like Stan Lee. I didn't think anything about it.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay.
yeah.
It kind of clicked with me just because it's like, oh my god, there he is, and then he goes into the room with just a crap ton of comics and action figures. And
I just figured he was a nerd.
yeah, that too, but just to have all of those comic books in there, just like movies or something like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And I looked it up, and Stan Lee's son is not named Fred. I thought he would in real life. They might.
That'd be funny.
That would
interesting.
that would be awesome. But no, he is not named Fred.
do you remember what his real name is?
James?
James.
They call him JC.
Okay. Interesting.
Jeezy crazy. Anyway, so
But
But I was gonna. So you've seen it, I think,
Yeah,
before this.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen it a couple of times, not
Okay.
too many times, but I actually watched it with my nieces. I think Sophia's first time watching it was with my nieces. We were babysitting them. And
For this?
No,
For the podcast?
No,
Oh,
no.
oh.
No, this was like a few years back.
Gotcha.
We were babysitting him, and we watched Big Hero 6 because they loved that movie. And, of course they talked through the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't I don't know what's going on.
So which kids did you abduct to watch the movie with you, Justin? Since
Seems like we all watched it with kids first.
Well, and I picked this one with you in mind because I'm like, I know Justin doesn't typically watch animated films.
No, I do not.
Because you don't have little ones or whatnot, and I'm like, okay, well maybe let me pick one. Let me put one in my list.
This is your soapbox. You can make me watch a movie.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
well, animation is one of the genres. I mean,
Yeah,
it's bound to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't want you to have to sit through some crazy musical, or something like that. So I'm like,
God,
okay,
please.
let's try Big Hero 6 and see what he likes. And two, I really like this movie because the first time that I saw it, I very rarely have a feeling after watching a movie that yes, I like it or no, I hate it. I have to go back, digest it for a little while, a couple of hours, and go, okay, yeah, I like it because of this or I don't like it because of that. But I immediately, at the end of this film, I went, that's a good movie. We need more movies like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I when I go to the theaters or something like that, right when the end credits hit, I'm thinking it's either I liked it or it was okay or man that really sucked.
Yeah, see,
But-
I can't.
But the ones that are going those are the ones that I go back and do some research on and maybe watch it again just to see if I missed something before or something like that. But that's and I typically pick apart the scenes and go, yeah, that was actually kind of cool. I like how they did that transition. I like how they did that camera angle or something like that. And I kind of talk myself back into liking it in a way.
So Justin, what did you think, by the way?
I liked it as a whole. I mean, there's some questions that I have, which I was about to get into. Let's get into the movie. So the first, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be this superhero movie,
Origin story
kind of thing.
I could see that.
It didn't start off like that. My first question is why the mixture of the American and Japanese culture, with San Francisco and the Japanese given names and
So I have
and
a
all
theory
that.
about that, but I'm sure
Because
John
it doesn't
actually-
explain it, right?
No,
Or
it
did I
doesn't.
just miss something?
No, it doesn't
No.
explain
Okay.
it. I think John probably knows the real story on this, but my theory is that it's taking place in the future at some point when, like, Japanese culture, because it's on the West Coast, is just predominantly what it's like mashed up here in America now.
Well, you know what my first thought was? It made me think of The Man in the High Castle.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Is this like post-war, like cool, like what do you call it? Not revisionist history, alternate history,
Alternate
Yeah,
you
And
know,
at one
kind of
point they
thing."
fight
And
the
then I'm
Nazis.
like, "When did this? This wasn't the movie I thought it was." No.
Yeah. At one point they fight the Nazis, and you're like, "What? Where did this come from?
I thought it was
Are
about
you-
this medical robot.
Are you happy
like-
with your service, Hitler?"
Are you satisfied with your killing?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, does anybody else have any?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know why?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Big Hero 6, the comic book series, was originally based off of another story from Japan. So it was it was like a manga
Okay.
story, right? So the writers of the comic book stayed true to that manga tradition, and in fact they kept some of the names, some of the odd names like Honey Lemon and Wasabi and all that. Those were in the Japanese version.
You're saying MAGA, by the way. Is it manga?
Manga,
Manga. My bad.
Yeah, you're saying MAGA.
He meant,
I was like,
he meant
Mega.
make America great.
Make
yeah, I was like,
Great. Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, we are
No.
close to the election,
Yeah,
but damn, I didn't know. Okay,
MAGA, yes, MAGA.
the Japanese really get into it.
Right, yeah, but it's the MAGA style. So
Okay.
they kept that
manga style.
manga. This is my Krauthammer or whatever it was.
Chris Mark.
Chris Mark.
Keep saying-
Oh, heaven
My
help me.
Krauthammer.
Heaven help me. I can't.
That's what they called their shovels that they used to dig their.
That's
I
the
just
other.
can't,
That's the
I'm
other
done.
Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6.
Yeah. Pepe's?
That missing superhero, Krauthammer.
I am Krauthammer.
I was thinking, why did we get onto the Nazi stuff or because with the Man on High Castle thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so manga.
Manga.
Yeah.
So it was
Manga.
originally a manga
Right.
story
right.
from Japan.
And then Marvel took it and rehashed it to an American
Okay.
style.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering if I missed something.
No, it doesn't.
That-
It doesn't go through it
okay.
in the film.
Honestly though too, like I'm with you on like at first especially you're like, oh, this is strange, but I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. I just thought it was kind of a cool backdrop.
It goes to the background.
That's what I was gonna
of
say.
it.
They don't seem to. It doesn't seem to really play anything to do with the plot. It almost seems like this story could take place anywhere.
Yeah.
But they happen to put it in this kind of like cool city. I'm
Yeah,
like,
because
oh,
I was
okay,
thinking
whatever.
like the whole thing starts off with the underground robot fighting, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, well, we have like dog fighting that's underground here.
Yes.
You know, Japan has underground sumo wrestling and stuff like that.
They have underground sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Yeah.
wicked.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's for the not so fat people. I have no idea.
Justin's
Skinny.
trying.
Yeah,
Skinny
I'm,
sumo.
He's trying to get in.
I'm bulking up. This is mass.
You're accumulating
I'm
mass.
accumulating mass.
What's funny is that literally it changes the way. If you say that, it changes the way someone looks at you. It's like, oh no, look, he's kind of putting on a little weight. He's like, oh no, he's training to be a sumo wrestler.
then he
Oh,
goes, oh,
keep going.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Good job, then.
Oh, you're doing great.
you're making progress.
I'm gonna start illegal sumo wrestling in America.
Reframing.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
We call that reframing the narrative.
Yes.
Dude, you know, speaking of illegal sumo wrestling, it reminded me of that bot fighting scene at the very beginning. It did remind me of a sumo fight. You know, they bring both the robots in, and I loved how like at the very beginning the robots looked huge. But then it like smash cut into
I did like
a
that.
smaller,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, they're like little toys. That's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, that
And-
was creative.
But you have this giant dude that's got this little tiny controller, and
Whose
he's
name I can't remember.
I don't
can't
remember his name either.
It's
But
like Toya, I think. It's like Toya and Little
Toyota?
Toya.
yeah,
Yeah,
little,
something like that.
Toya and Toyota.
Toho or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a cool name.
But
though.
yeah, like I loved his first robot that he made that had the different faces. Like
Yes.
right when he just demolished this other robot, he went from angry to smiling.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great.
Yeah, it was telling a story too. It's just that one little switch of the face. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of foreshadowing
Yeah.
later on in the movie, which I didn't really think of that just till now.
Yeah, me either.
Interesting.
That's what we do here.
That's right. We talk about it. We hash it out.
I
We
mean,
talk about it.
You know, we told the ending scene or the hidden credit thing. You know, no one can blame us for burying a lead anymore.
That's
Right.
That's true.
So, what was your second question, or second thing you had on it?
I don't remember what my second question was.
Okay.
That one was the first one. Was the
Yeah,
mixture of
because
culture?
you said you had questions. You were like, yeah, my first question was like, you know, why San Francisco, and then you were like, yeah.
I don't remember what.
By saying you had questions, I assumed there would be a 2.
No, there was something else that I didn't quite get, but maybe it'll come up
Okay.
talking about more about it.
Yeah. So overall, what'd you like about it?
I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, this was a Disney, not a Pixar, right?
Right.
Right.
It was
Yes.
a Disney animation
That's
production.
what we had
yeah.
to figure out last time, I think, because I thought
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it was something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because they all have kind of similar stuff like the Pixar. You know, they have their formulaic kind of things, which is what I don't really like about the animation stuff, where they go, okay, at this point there's going to be some heartstring pulls, and then this point, and then everything's going to come around, everything's going to be happy. You know, not a
Well-
big fan of that.
Yeah, they did actually do something that is formulaic with Disney movies. They killed off the parents immediately. The parents weren't even in the movie, so they're like, you know, they're being taken care of by their aunt, and it's like, okay, so the parents are gone. Way to go, Disney. You're having
knocking
these
them
Yeah,
kids.
so you can sympathize with them, and
yeah,
and that little
they've already had some hardships in the past.
yeah, and that
you know,
hero
type
is
thing.
looking for his big brother is, you know, his parental figure in
Right.
basically in a way.
Yes, yeah,
And
he's
then-
like a father figure.
Then when
in
they
a way.
take him out of the picture, that's just
Then
such a
he's-
bigger blow.
He's
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah. Even though his aunt's there, he's still lost.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I
because
mean,
he can't relate to her.
Right.
She's
right.
she's a bakery or a
Yeah, she runs the
pastry chef
bakery,
or
I
something
guess,
like
right?
that. Yeah, or a
Um,
cafe. That's what it is. It's a
Yeah,
cafe.
yeah, it seems like a cafe.
Yeah.
But he definitely is a lot closer to his brother, and they share the same passion of, you know, building robots and technology and science,
right.
and all that jazz.
Right, which is one thing. I'll start talking a little bit about a negative of the film, which I don't understand why, if he's into building robots, why does he keep calling his brother's school a nerd school?
Yeah, that was interesting
It's
too.
like newsflash, hero, you're a nerd.
No. So here it's very simple. It's actually this part I as a rebel myself, okay, He's just a rebel.
Rebel.
Think
you
about
pull
it.
off the mattress stickers, not the mattress stickers.
Oh, I cut those right off. No, it's like Val Kilmer's character in Real Genius, right? He's the rebel without a cause, so to speak. You know, he doesn't want to be at this school, but he knows he's got to do it in order to get ahead.
Figures he's better than everybody.
Yeah, but this kid isn't doing it because he wants to be, he wants to be a rebel. He doesn't want to go to the nerd school and learn how to do stuff better per se. He
Right.
wants to do it on his own and then go,
I mean, that's why he's participating in
illegal robot fights.
He wants to be
Yeah.
the illegal robot fighter, just similar
Right.
to kids nowadays want to be the YouTuber and not go to
Yes,
school.
and not go to film school
Yeah.
Right.
because that's nerd
Yeah,
stuff.
nerd.
No, I'm being serious.
I mean,
Yeah,
but did
yeah.
he know that his brother was in the robotics, or engineering, I should say?
Yes.
Like school? Because to me,
No, it seems strange that he didn't seem to know that he worked with Callahan.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the only thing he didn't seem to
to
understand.
me, it sounded like he didn't know what his brother did.
No, it seemed like I don't think he knew specifics about what his brother did. It doesn't seem like he'd ever been to the school, but it seemed to me like the only thing that was really a shock was that he worked with Callahan. Other than that, it seemed like the kid, like he's like, oh, you go to the college and you're a nerd and you work in science or something. He didn't seem to have any interest. I took that as what Kyle was just putting on it with the parents type thing. I took it as like since their parents have been out of the picture, they are together, but like they're
They're supporting each other.
yeah, but not at the same time.
Yeah, because you realize towards the end of the movie that Baymax is saying, "Well, he's here, he's here," talking about his older brother, and you see the clips of him doing test after test after test after test. So that symbolizes that he basically was probably there at the school
All the
the
time.
majority of the
Right.
times, and hardly ever got home.
Yes.
To spend some quality time or like building robots together or something like that. So you could in a sense say that he was just at work type thing,
All day long.
and all night and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
I can
and
see
and he
that.
didn't even know about Baymax, forever, because it looked
Right.
like he's been developing this robot for
At least a
years.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least a year, if not
Yeah.
longer. Yeah.
Makes you
so-
wonder why the older brother, I almost said Toshiba.
It's really close to that.
Yeah.
It's like Toshiro. I think?
Toshida?
Toshida.
Toshida?
That
Is
sounds
it?
right.
I'll look it up here.
Yeah.
Hang on.
I'm really
Um,
bad about. I told you I'm bad about the names. It's the worst. I'm horrible about those.
Well, it almost makes you wonder why. I'll just say Toshida until someone corrects me.
Tadashi.
Tadashi.
There you go.
That's it. Makes you wonder why Tadashi kept it a secret from
well, see, I don't think
from the aunt and
I
his
don't think he
brother.
was keeping it a secret per se. I think that again, I think what Kyle's saying, where the brother is staying at the school for an extended period of time, I think is part of it. And the second part is that the kid is sort of a recluse from his family. Like he's kind of he's on his own a little bit. I mean, the aunt is busy running the business, the donut business.
It's
or
like a cafe.
Cafe, yeah.
Pastry shop, yeah.
Mostly donuts though, apparently.
Right.
And then the brother's at the school all the time, so it leaves the kid, being like a latchkey kid. And he apparently graduated high school when he was 13, so he's been on his own technically for a year
Right.
at least because he's 14. So it's one of those things where I don't think that he's just very involved with them
Which
on
is-
his own
yeah.
volition. I think he's choosing the kid Hiro is choosing to do that, not the brother or the aunt.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is probably why he
You're
got
probably right.
into the illegal bot fighting to begin with.
Right.
It's just because he needed, I guess, something to do and money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in the school, it may have been like Tadashi may have put it off as, yeah, it is nerd school. It's like, yeah, we just kind of fiddle around with, science experiments and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's not really that great, because you could downplay it just because the people that are there. It's just commonplace in a way that I don't want to bore you with the specifics or something like that. But when Hiro came in and he was like looking at all this actual science being applied to robotics, and he's like, what is this place type thing?
So and I'm not trying to disagree with you hard here, but the only thing that's different, I think, is that Tadashi.
Tadashi,
Jesus, thanks for that. Tadashi does want his brother to go to school,
I was about to say that because
so he wants him to go to college. So he's
that
talking him
specific
up.
college.
Yes, he's talking him up the whole time to it. So the big reason why he ends up going in the first place is that Tadashi tricks him. So Hiro says, I'm going to go to this other bot fight, and I'm just going to go. And Tadashi's like, well, let me give you a ride, and throws him the helmet. And then instead of taking him to the bot kidnaps him and takes him to the college.
Okay, yeah,
So
I get that.
He's basically going
it's
like,
Hiro.
you don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, it's Hiro that has
That's
purposefully chosen not to be a part of Tadashi, of the college, of his aunt for the most part.
Yeah, because
he's separating himself.
Right, and I get that too. Yeah, thanks for bringing that
part
up.
up,
Yeah,
yeah.
just because, it does seem, because he's only 13.
He's 14 now.
He's 14,
He's
and he
14.
graduated high school when he was 13.
13, yeah.
And it's like, okay, so he's already at that level, at
Yes.
that peak of knowledge and smartness and everything. So
But
he's
imagine
like,
doing that when you hit puberty.
right, but
So
it's
now you're a dick.
yeah,
who
but now
can graduate
it's like,
high
well,
school.
now it's like, I don't want to go to school.
Yeah,
like
who's
why
got
would I want to go to school?
You're smart enough to go, but you have so much attitude that you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect time.
It's
to
like, but I already
graduate.
know everything. What's school going to teach me? Type thing. It's like I
Yeah.
already built this awesome robot,
Yeah.
So
So he meets the professor,
Robert Callahan.
Robert Callahan.
Callahan.
That's right,
It's the
Callahan.
one name I can remember.
Yeah,
Which
well,
is
because
worse,
it's the most
voiced by-
Americanized.
Well,
Yeah.
that and they pointed his name out like 16 times, and his daughter's name was on her jacket, and they like zoomed in to catch Callahan on the
Right,
jacket,
yeah.
so it just stuck in my mind.
That was one thing I did not see coming.
The
was
daughter
that
being stuck in.
Well, no, that
the
being his daughter.
subatomic universe.
That reveal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but no, so yeah, he meets Robert Callahan, who is the professor of the program there, and his brother shows him the robot that has been working on, which is now the Baymax character that everybody knows. I mean, I've heard of Baymax just because
It's Baymax.
it's
yeah, it's Baymax.
it's
I
in
mean,
popular culture now.
you're right.
It's the sweetest robot ever.
He is very cute.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even I saw a post on Reddit. It was a Tesla subreddit that had the white seats, but they put the Baymax eyes on the head on
Nice.
the headrest, and
Oh,
it looks
that's-
just like Baymax, and it is hilarious.
That's awesome.
And it was weird because
Do they have lumbar support?
yeah, and it like the belly came out, you know.
Speaking of that,
Doesn't sound bad.
No.
speaking of that, that's one of my favorite parts. I laugh every time. Is when Hiro makes the carbon fiber suit, the first carbon fiber suit, the
Yeah.
green one.
It's built for his belly.
And it's built to encompass the belly. And he finally gets it on. And Baymax looks down and goes, I have some concerns. that was so funny to me.
So typically Baymax, most of the movie, right? The way Baymax is, I'm like, oh, this is funny, this is cute, this is whatever. It's a kids movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
The parts that I don't like whenever they just got done fighting Callahan for the first time and they run to the police station,
Yes.
and there's this really long extended take of him putting tape on his arms.
Yeah. It's
That-
like 2 minutes long or
that
something.
that felt long.
Yeah.
It
That
kind
was-
of reminded me of Zootopia, which you've probably
Oh,
never seen.
yes.
I've
Yes.
seen Zootopia.
Zootopia
Oh,
with
yeah.
the sloths.
The DMZ or the DMV.
Yeah, the DMV
Yes.
scene with the sloth. You know what a sloth is, right, Justin?
Yeah.
So there's
and I
a-
know what the DMV is, and it's a sloth. Yeah.
Yes.
So imagine
Yes,
the
it
sloth
is.
being like,
Oh Lord. Yeah.
but for like 5 minutes,
Yes.
5 solid minutes, they're in this scene, and it
Yeah.
just takes forever. That part in particular, there were a couple scenes like that I was like, okay, you can cut those. It's not enough to drag the movie down, but it's enough that I'm like, okay, we get it. He's kind of quirky. He's he's
It's a-
obviously uber intelligent, but he's uber intelligent with a certain set of parameters.
See, I found the humor in that though, in it being so long, because it's like, okay, you're done now. You have your 3 holes plugged in your arm, great.
The
and then
other
the
arm.
other
Yeah.
arm starts going off.
Yeah.
I found the humor in that one.
Don't get me wrong. It's funny. It's just, it feel like, especially once you watch it the second and third time, it's like, okay, fuck, here comes that scene. I'm gonna go get a drink, guys. You guys just keep watching for a minute. I won't miss anything. I'll be right back. Like, it just seems to take a really long
No,
time.
in that same scene when the battery's draining and
Oh,
it's
my
getting
gosh.
low,
And he gets drunk.
that was
Yes.
hilarious.
That was probably my favorite part
That was
I thought
so
it would
funny.
be.
because I was like, "Oh, that's me."
That was so funny.
He's like, we fought in robots together. He's like,
All right,
he jumped out of a window.
we can't say that. Shh, we jumped out of a window.
that part in particular, I was like, okay, well, that's for the parents because
That's
the kids have
Exactly.
no
That
clue.
is
That was an
Great.
adult joke.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
they do know what's going on, that's just sad.
Yeah.
And they have seen the parents,
But
but
you
you
could-
feel ashamed.
Yeah, but
Yes.
then you could just relate and be like, "Oh, I was just really tired, and I was just running
My
low
battery,
on batteries."
yeah, my battery was low.
Yeah.
That's a great excuse from now
Dad's
on.
a
There we go.
robot.
I'm sorry, officer. My battery is low.
My
There we
battery's
go.
running low. It's a lithium-ion battery.
Disney making social drinking okay with the kids.
Just go Just go to Epcot. You'll know.
That's true.
There you go. Drink around the world,
What
everybody.
are we doing? We're celebrating art and music.
That's right. We're celebrating all the countries
and
in the world.
chocolate and food, I believe.
See, if I didn't come to Epcot, I wouldn't know about Mexico.
I love the ball.
I didn't know that Canada was here, but now they got good beer.
I didn't know they were all in walking distance.
Right?
That makes it so much
you
better.
You could literally cross the bridge and be in France.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Slingshot.
So back to Baymax real quick. So
Sure.
when we first meet him, let me say after Tadashi. Jeez,
Ta-da.
No, we won't
Gee.
ever get it by the end of this thing. I'm just gonna go back to Toshiba.
This is your Krautmeyer.
Yeah.
This is my kraut hammer.
Cruise mark.
Kurzmark. See, I can't do
Jesus
it.
Christ, John.
So after Tadashi, did I get
Yes.
it?
Yes, good job.
You
All
just
right,
said
mark
it 30
it.
seconds ago.
I know.
Don't be too
I
proud.
know. After Tadashi passes away,
Yep.
and then Baymax pops up in Hiro's room.
I like how you said passes away, like he didn't blow up with the building. But go ahead.
He violently passes away.
Yeah.
In many, many directions.
Yes.
Aw.
He gets exploded. Go ahead, Baymax.
Which, so we see Baymax, and he does the little comedic thing where, he blows up, and then he, looks around at his surroundings, and he
tries to walk
he
around
waddles
yeah.
around. And
Knocking
and then
over
he-
picture frame.
Yeah, he
Yes.
knocks over stuff, yeah. I was looking up some trivia for this, and apparently the animators, they watched babies with full diapers waddling around to figure out how to make him waddle.
That's
Nice.
funny.
Just
know,
thought that was
I
interesting.
could see that. Yeah,
You know,
I could see
I
that.
kind of noticed too, like with his slow walking and stuff, like when he actually was finding the source of the robot, because the little tiny robots or something like that.
Petri dish, yeah.
Yeah, they were. He was finding where this robot was or where his friends are or something like that. So he walks out of the house and he's out in public now, which he's not really supposed to be.
Right.
And so, why did it take so long for
Hiro.
Hiro to find him or to chase him down just because he
I
like
don't know.
waddles?
Well, I don't know why it took
They
him
made
that
a-
long.
Yeah,
a
well, they
movie,
made a
though.
big point of saying how not fast he is.
How slow he is,
Right.
and then it took him forever for him to catch up to him.
Okay, but it's a movie.
It's
if
a
he had
movie.
caught up to him and stopped him right outside the door, guess what? End of movie. Roll credits because he never finds the other
That's true.
robots.
That is
Very
true.
It's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. But during that scene, my wife and I actually did not watch this with our son.
The first time.
No, we watched it with our son the first time.
Oh, okay.
But we did not
But
watch
this week?
it. But with this week, yeah, we did not watch it with our son. And and during that part, she goes, "Oh, look, it's me," because she's very light on her feet whenever she's in a hurry. She's like, "Dee, dee, 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 dee."
So you know what I liked about that scene in particular though. Whenever he's walking away, it wasn't Hiro and it wasn't Baymax that I was paying attention to. I was looking at the surroundings.
Yes.
Did you notice how many they're not actors, they're drawings, obviously. They're cartoons.
Computer CG. Yeah.
But do you know how many of them stopped and looked and they had them actually interacting, but they weren't part of the foreground; they were part of the background, and the animators still took the time to have all these different characters doing things.
Yeah.
There's one part where he's walking by and there's somebody in a shop buying something, right? That's why. Nobody's going to pay attention except for me. Nobody noticed that except for me. So why have that? There's another scene where he almost gets hit by a car and there's a woman who's in the background and she's totally she's nowhere near the foreground. She's far in the background, but she notices this robot about to get hit and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And it's just such a funny little, it's almost an Easter egg. You know what I mean? It's almost that level. I'm like, wow, they really went to great depths to make this world be a real world who Hiro and Baymax are living in,
Right.
but they're not the focus of.
Right.
right.
You know what I mean? Which I appreciate.
Well, what's interesting about that? The animation company that did this, which I can't think of their name right now,
Toshiba.
Toshiba.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think it was actually Disney Animation.
Was it?
Was
It
the
might have been.
studio, yeah.
It might have been. But they actually had to create a software program to do those background actors.
Oh, really?
They did it so that they could quickly generate those things
Nice.
instead of
Wow.
having to hand animate those background people that you're talking about.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called it Denizen something.
Hmm.
I'd have to look it up again.
No, that's pretty awesome though.
But
But it makes sense because it really made the world feel real.
It kind of reminds me when you said that, looking at the background or something like that. It just looking at other than the actors on the scene. in all the Pixar movies, you know, you see the pizza truck
Yeah.
from Toy Story, and you know it's in everything.
Yeah.
It's in Monsters Inc. It's in, you know, every Pixar movie. So I was kind of, since I don't know, I guess Disney, did they own Pixar in that by that time?
I believe they
I
did.
think
yeah.
so. Yeah,
I
it was
was-
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking for the pizza truck just to see if they would slip it in there, but it's a different animation company, so they
Yeah.
probably didn't,
Yeah.
you know, they probably
But
didn't have
what they did do is they included a lot of Marvel
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, a lot of action figures, a lot of references.
Baymax
and
was
things
Iron
like
Man.
that. Yes.
In a sense.
Yeah.
He's the thruster. He has thrusters and all that kind of stuff. He can fly,
I
but
mean,
he had
they-
wings.
And they
so-
had like what was it? Jimmy, I believe it's Jimmy Neutron had a scene with a flying fist thing, you know, and all that stuff. I believe it was Jimmy Neutron.
Here it is, Eddie. The production team invented a program called the Denizen Factory, which allowed them to build a whole series of background characters that each have a distinct design and feel.
Wow.
I can
kinda
see
cool.
that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing. Like whenever he's going down the street, you can see down some of the hills of San Francisco. You can see down, and there's people doing things. Like it's not just, I don't know. A lot of times whenever you watch movies like this, it'll just be like people walking. Even live action movies, like you'll just see people walking, right? Like people just walk everywhere aimlessly all the time. No standing people, just walking.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And there's
apparently,
no living people. You know, this is different.
apparently the quote unquote world that the animators created for this,
Yeah.
it's modeled. That modeled world is larger in scale than Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, and Frozen all combined.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
kinda
larger
interesting.
larger in scale than Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. So when you think about how you have to animate for movies, right? You really only take a scene and you only animate that scene. Like if a character's in a room, you don't animate the whole house. You don't build the whole house.
Yeah, you just
you
do the
just build the room.
Yeah.
Right, whatever's visible. So they had what this thing is saying is basically because they're in the San Francisco world and there's a lot of these distant shots
Oh, they had to
that
go
they
far
had to
out.
build massive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically
Viewing distance.
cityscapes.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, because there is one scene, like I said, where you can see it's the trolley car goes by, and you can see the that whatever that name of that pyramid building is in San Francisco. You can see that.
Oh, yeah.
And you could see out to the bridge, which is not really the Golden Gate Bridge. It's the Golden Gate Bridge, but with Shinto.
Yeah, it was kind of
Shinto
interesting little
Shinto
design.
temple
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So I mean, there's stuff like that I don't know. I just appreciated. I was like, oh, good job on really giving this world, texture. It wasn't just
They did do a good job
It wasn't
of
a
that,
2D
yeah.
world by any means.
Yeah, apparently there's like 200 different designs that say San Francisco throughout
Oh,
the
really?
movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
cool.
one at
So
the
attention to detail is something they did do for this movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they flew in the after the Golden Gate Japanese bridge. They did a shot over the port of San Francisco. You know, so it was kind of interesting because even that said San Francisco or something like
Yeah.
that, San Tokyo or something like
Yeah,
that.
it says
So-
Port of San Francisco.
Yeah, that was I think the first scene where you actually see there is a difference. Like this is not a real city, but it's modeled after something else.
Yeah, your idea that it's like the Man in the High Castle
Like an
parallel
alternate history,
universe,
yeah.
like that's.
Yeah, post war.
I still think that would have been awesome if they just randomly. It's the Nazis. Like, wait, what?
No,
They're
it's the
attacking.
Imperial Japanese Army.
We better hurry, Tommy, before the Germans get here.
It's always the Germans with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have a couple more things that bug me a little bit
Okay.
about the film. We have a montage of Hiro building the superhero suits, right? And everybody's trying the suits on and
Right.
getting used to their each character is getting used to their superhero suit. Then we pause, and then we have another montage immediately of Baymax flying with
Yes.
Hiro on his
Right.
back, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I like my montages spread out. I don't like the two of. I know why they did it that way, but I like my montages spread out. I mean, Rocky has like 5 montages in the whole film,
Yeah.
but they're spread out, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I like them when they're spread out. And to me, the flying montage went a tick too long.
I agree.
I agree with you. Yeah.
I think it might have been more of a connection with, I guess, him and his dead brother. It was like, this is something that like they would have probably done together in a sense. So it's basically like Baymax is now his brother. He's like a little bit of a replacement, because after the fact, he had said, Baymax had said that your psychological or your happiness reading is like going through the roof, or you're getting happier. Do you are you okay with, are you satisfied with your care, or something like that?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is fun. I'm having fun, And so he's like, okay, and then he like goes on.
Yeah. He goes, this means the treatment's working.
Yeah, that means the treatment's
he,
working.
Falls over.
Yeah.
which I can appreciate. I did like that part.
Yeah.
Well, Baymax, I mean, kind of go into a macro view of the movie too. Like Baymax did meet his goal of helping Hiro.
Yes.
In a weird way, slightly weird way, he replaced Tadashi.
Yes.
Which isn't good. Like, that's not a good way to deal with grief, by finding somebody else to be a stand-in and being like, hey, I'm not sad anymore because you're here now. Oh shit, you died at the end. Well, now I'm back to being really sad and back into depression.
Baymax didn't actually replace Tadashi alone. It's
No,
all of
it's
his
all of
friends.
which is where I was
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Which was where I was
The
going.
6.
By
Yeah.
him bringing in, by Baymax bringing in the rest of the friends
Right.
to become part of the family too. That's really the biggest part of the story. Like, you called it a coming of age story. I don't disagree with that, but I don't know if I would call it a coming of age story. You know what I mean? Because it's not so much about him becoming a man as him finding a family.
Well, I think it's going through the stages of grief in a way.
Well, no, but I mean, like, even like we were talking about him with his parents are gone.
Right.
He really doesn't have a relationship with Aunt Cass, I think is her name.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. They don't really have a relationship. They're aunt and nephew, obviously, but other than that, I mean, he lives above her cafe. I don't even know if she lives there 100%. I think there's
She
one
does.
scene where we
Yeah,
see her
she
in the
lives there,
apartment.
yeah.
But
Yeah, she does.
and then you have Tadashi, who we've already established is kind of a shitty brother before he dies. After he dies, he was the perfect brother ever.
Sure.
And then you have the Hero 6, the rest of them, the wasabi and ginger lemon and whatever,
Go and
Whatever their names are.
Honey lemon.
coconut wafers and
Little Debbie's.
ding dongs and Twinkie, and Fred.
just Fred.
They really become his actual threaded family, like his actual fibers of family.
Yes.
And with Baymax. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see where somebody would call it a coming of age, but I would almost question whether or not he actually grows out of being a child, because I kind of think he was already out of being a child by the time the movie started.
But see, to me, the reason that I called it a coming of age film was because how Baymax acts as Hiro's conscience during a lot of the film, and so do the other
Actors or friends.
Yeah, friends.
Yeah.
So do his other friends.
Yeah.
Because whenever he does overstep a line, they're like, no, they keep pulling him back. They keep correcting him and going, no, you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the film, I got a feeling of, okay, he's learned now that family doesn't have to be blood,
Yes.
right? And there's more than one way to seek justice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I agree with you on that part in particular. Again, see, I typically think, like, when you brought up Stand By Me, when we did that movie, no question, they're kids, and whenever they come back, they are quote unquote more men than they were before they left. So it's a coming of age story. This one, I could see where you could get there, but it's a really strange journey, because he doesn't seem to change. I mean, there's the anger part that you're talking about, which one could argue when you're super angry and maybe willing to destroy the world to get this guy who's not really your nemesis, but okay, cool.
Right.
There's a childish aspect to that, but it almost seems more like he needed a family more than he needed to be an adult.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I never thought about it until you said coming of age earlier, and I was like, I wonder, do I consider it a coming of age? I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw. Well, I didn't see your ears perk up, but I saw you kind of like, your thought bubble went bloop bloop bloop.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what? So overall, Justin, what did you? I mean, did you like it though? Like, did you actually like? If I said, "Hey, tell me some really good movies that I could go watch," would you put this on that list?
No, because I don't really recommend animated movies out.
If I said,
so.
"Hey, I'm looking for a really good animated movie to go watch," what would you put
Then
that
yeah,
on that
then yeah, I
list?
would.
Okay.
You'd honestly, Justin would be like, "Well, I don't really
Yeah,
watch
I mean,
animated movies."
It would
So
take me a minute just to even think of all the animated movies I've
You're
ever
like
seen.
Tom and Jerry takes the
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I don't
Oh,
know.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
That would be like one of the top ones, but
It's because you like Jessica Rabbit.
that's true.
Well, who doesn't?
right?
I mean, she's a cartoon, dude. I'm good.
Please, I guarantee you, as a kid.
Oh, ink blots.
That's what we call them.
Ink blots. Oh God.
So
Okay.
since this was a Walt Disney, you know how Disney always tries to do the hidden Mickey stuff.
Yes.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently there was one in this movie.
Oh, was there?
Oh,
Yeah. Do you guys have? Do you guys?
I have
No.
no
No.
freaking clue. No
No
clue.
idea.
It was
I
in the
didn't know it
explosion,
until-
wasn't it?
No, I didn't know it either until I was looking stuff up for here. Apparently, it is on the car emblem during the car chase.
Oh,
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
so like
That's
during when they were running away from.
Yeah, when they were running away from Callahan.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I did not
Yeah.
see that.
Apparently, it's a stylized Mickey, so
Oh, okay.
it's kind of hidden, but yes.
You know,
I'd have to go back and look
Yeah.
at it. And
Yeah.
see.
Sure.
Talking about the car chase for just 2 seconds, real fast.
Mm.
So you said that this movie's like a superhero movie.
Mhm.
Yes,
And that's what it becomes.
it.
It doesn't start out that way.
You're right.
Obviously.
The thing is that you're right, but at the same time, I would say you're wrong. And the reason why I say that is that Callahan never really becomes a real antagonist or a real villain. Like
Yeah, he doesn't like attack the city.
he
Right.
doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
Like we would assume you would call him Kabuki, right? Because he wears the Kabuki mask and he, or like Kabuki-tron or something. I mean, you'd have to come up with
Well,
something like robots and Kabuki masks.
The cop at the desk calls him Mr. Kabuki.
Mr.
Yeah,
Kabuki.
Mr.
That's the
Kabuki.
closest we get to this guy being like a supervillain. Beyond that, I mean, and there's no real. There's
Really, he's only going after that other guy.
Yeah.
exactly.
corporate guy.
There's
Alistair.
really no, and there's no real conflict between him and Hiro, other than what Hiro believes, which is fake, which is false. And I mean, realistically, I don't know.
So what's the moral of this?
The moral of the story, I still think it goes back to like family. Like, if you feel lost, find family or something. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with. I don't know.
Or do your research. Don't get mad at people for what you think. I don't know.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, like maybe don't jump to conclusions.
Don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah, I
There
mean,
you go.
there's, I don't know. I question whether or not it's truly a superhero movie. You know what I mean?
It's got all the elements of it.
I agree with you. It's got superheroes in it, but I don't think that. I mean, like The Boys has superheroes in it too, and that's not a superhero show. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering. I don't know. It makes me wonder about that movie. Now, the questions you guys are bringing up, the things you guys are bringing up, has me rethinking.
Man.
See,
No.
to me, knowing, I mean, granted, I did,
Sorry,
I did
about my
not-
score.
I did not know before doing the research before this week that that it was based off a Marvel comic miniseries,
Yeah, I did not either.
and I haven't read the miniseries at all. But
Gotcha.
being the word Marvel,
You'd assume it's a superhero
it's
thing.
it's a superhero thing.
Yeah.
Now I will say that the movie, from what I read, the movie more closely resembles the 2008 5-part series,
Okay.
but it still strays away
Okay.
from it. So it's its own thing.
It seems like they use it as a backdrop.
Yeah, they use it as a like, okay, this is the world, these are the major players in the stories.
Yeah.
Let's create our own thing out of this miniseries.
Well, even them getting dressed up as superheroes and all getting powered up and everything like that, they do the same thing in the Princess Diaries. Like, she becomes a princess, and they do this whole montage where she's trying on dresses and getting her hair done and doing all these things. If you take away the superhero stuff and you just say, well, at this one point, all the characters come together who are important and who are going to eventually care about each other, and they do things for each other and to prepare each other for the rest of the movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
The superhero thing becomes very secondary at that point.
But couldn't you do that with every superhero movie?
You
I
technically
mean,
could.
take like Batman. Take Batman out of the picture.
Yeah.
He could still go out and fight crime without
Right.
the suit, so he's no longer a superhero.
Yeah, but
So could Iron Man.
the point that I'm making in those movies in particular is that they have a direct supervillain that they're fighting. Like in Batman, you have the Joker, who
Right.
is a human, but at the same time, he's got this weirdly supernatural element to him where he doesn't seem to be able to be killed, and he's
he's just crazy.
Well, yeah, but to the point where he ends up being stronger and smarter than other people. Not necessarily stronger in a Superman way, but stronger in terms of like a pain way. Like you can basically take him and torture him, and he just laughs in your face maniacally. That's a level of crazy that's more than your average bear. You know what I mean? Like that's more than normal.
And I guess the only thing that would technically make him like a villain is the scene where he was basically destroying the building from that contraption.
Yes, going after the person who technically, in my opinion anyway, is actually the villain of the movie, which is Carr or Care or whatever. Cray. Thank you. Cray?
Mm-hmm. Alistair Cray.
Alistair Cray. That guy to me is actually the villain of the movie, and he's only in there 2 times.
Yeah.
Because the other guy is actually a victim, a really hurt victim in the whole thing.
He is a victim in the same that
the Punisher.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, he's a victim, but he's the one going out and seeking revenge.
Yeah.
So that makes him the villain. He might not be a super villain.
That's true.
But he is a villain.
I don't know if I'd call him a villain though.
But he is, because he's the bad guy.
He does get arrested.
He is the bad guy. He gets arrested. He destroys an entire building.
Yeah.
He tries to kill them.
Yeah.
Attempted murder. That's a villain.
There's a few cases there.
Right.
Debatable.
We're not in the jury.
You send my daughter into the flower verse or whatever the hell he sends her daughter. Well, what would you call that?
It's actually a good name for it.
What was that place? I mean, it never gets talked about. I mean, they're not like, hey,
it's just the other side.
This portal goes through to.
It's the space between space.
It kind of is.
The space between.
It reminded
time.
me of from Ant-Man.
Yes.
The subatomic level. Like you get down there and things are strange. That's what it reminded me of.
Yep.
And I was like, well, cool. Where the hell are they though? Like
they're
what's
just
next?
in a different dimension.
Yeah, but it's like kaiju are going to swim by Baymax and get out through the portal too. Like where that to me was one of the strangest parts of the movie. I didn't have a problem with it per se, but I was like, where the hell are they?
I guess there's oxygen in that space because Hiro was
he's got a mask on.
But it's just a face shield.
It's not.
It's not a full mask.
I don't disagree with you, but
it's a movie.
It's a movie.
It's not just a movie. It's a cartoon.
It's like
that's the thing.
It's like a motorcycle helmet.
See, I do have a flaw when it comes to cartoon movies in particular. More shit can fly with me. Like I know
That's not a flaw.
It's a flaw because I'm pretty hard on stuff. But when it comes to cartoon movies, I'm like, hey, you didn't have oxygen. Whatever. How many bullets were in that magazine?
Yes, I look at that all the time.
With very few exceptions.
Yeah.
An animated film is for kids.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be completely accurate.
That's changing.
They don't have to be Eddie standard.
As more millennials don't have kids,
they don't have to follow.
Be made for adults.
They don't have to follow the time rules of Eddie. They don't have to follow the.
Yeah.
But what they have to do is obviously the adults have to pay to get into the movie theater for the kids to see, and they have to sit through it as well.
That's why you end up with a drunk Baymax,
right? Yeah, exactly. And speaking of parents paying
hilarious.
for tickets, the actual budget for this film. What do you guys think the budget for this film?
This was 2014.
Yes.
I'm gonna say, man, there was that whole uprising with animators saying they weren't being paid enough around then. I'll just go with 50 million. I know that's probably low.
Okay, 50. John, what do you think?
That's probably real low.
I'm gonna go 70.
70. Okay.
I'm gonna go a little. I guess I'm gonna go right in the middle.
Okay.
60 million.
60 million. So you got 50, 70, and 60. All right. Add 100 million to that. It's $165 million.
Yeah. I knew it was gonna be around 100.
Budget. So technically, John was supposed to slip in.
Wow.
Yeah.
In all your faces.
I'm not good when it comes to cartoon movies, man. They charge way too much to color shit in now.
Oh man. Well, you think of
It's a skill, man. It's an art.
Obviously, the voice actors gotta get paid.
Yeah.
But it's just the sheer amount of animators that have to get paid, plus the technology that requires that rendering, all that crap. You know.
Yeah.
So opening weekend, what do you think that made?
Oh, I'm gonna say
opening weekend
80 million.
80.
I was gonna say around 75.
Okay. John.
90.
All right. So I guess Eddie was closest, 56.2 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said 75.
He said 75.
He said 70.
He was
What did you
closer.
say?
80.
Oh, okay.
56.
Yeah, 56 million was the opening weekend. So worldwide gross.
Oh, that's
Now.
a lot.
Oh, that's gonna be.
$500 million.
I was
I'm saying
gonna
500
say.
million.
Okay.
I'd say $1 billion.
Okay.
Oh, I'll say, man, 350 million.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess Eddie was the closest. $657 million.
Yeah, I was close at that
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I got one.
Wow.
Good job, Ed.
I think we all three got one just now. By the way.
So
Oh, well, that's good.
the domestic gross, which is I guess United States gross, is
Yes.
at 222 million. So basically a third of that,
I imagine this was really big in Japan.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's your box office numbers.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Kyle. So let's talk about real quick about the critic scores then before we go on and rate it ourselves.
It's yeah.
Has anybody looked at these?
No.
No.
From Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
Nope.
So let's start with the critic score then. What do you guys think out of 100%?
I know what I got. Go ahead, John.
I'm gonna give it for critics
Yeah.
an 84.
That's really good. I'm 75.
I'm gonna just overbid you, John. I'm gonna go 86.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say 85, like you're
No.
gonna like $1, Bob.
No. I'll
Or,
go,
I mean, yeah, you know.
I'll go a little bit up just
Okay.
in case it's 85. It's a tie.
It's 89.
Oh wow.
So
So 89%
89%
of the critics
like this.
Well, I knew it was going to be high just because it was a really good animation.
Yeah,
and
animation
I think animation films typically are a little bit
Higher.
higher.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
So I think of them as always being lower.
Nah.
No, they're pretty high.
Not from like Pixar.
They got to be
and Walt
really,
Disney.
really bad.
Zootopia wasn't good. I didn't like Zootopia. I don't know. I don't like a lot
Get
of
outta
cartoon
here.
stuff.
That is a good.
I like
Get outta
Zootopia.
here.
Zootopia was good.
Well, what do you think the audience rated?
94.
Oh, it's got to be higher. Yeah.
Yeah, 98.
Okay.
Jesus.
You gonna go 99?
No, I'm going to throw the needle. I'm going to go 96.
91.
Oh wow.
Who was that?
Nice.
That was-
Good
yeah.
job.
So, just for reference, because Eddie, you were saying you don't like Zootopia.
Yeah.
Just a quick guess. Well, I'll just tell you: 98% of the critics
Like Zootopia?
and 92% of the audience.
Well, just in case we do that movie, I guess we.
I'm not
we
gonna.
now
I'm
know.
not gonna remember
Hey,
that.
we'll,
Yeah, no one will
we'll do
remember
it
that.
forever.
Yeah.
We'll do
Well,
it
it'll
tomorrow.
take probably I don't know a half a year to probably get back
Oh,
to animation.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why those scores would be like that. To me, Big Hero 6 is better than Zootopia.
Yep.
That's my assumption.
Me too, because I haven't seen Zootopia. So
There you go. That's a true statement.
You gotta steal
I
another
can't.
kid.
I
Watch
can't
it.
say that. Yeah. So we got two more things to do. The one thing before the last thing, of course.
You keep trying to jump to the last thing.
I'm hungry. I want to get out of here. We gotta score the thing.
Yeah, score that beautiful bean footage.
So, John, since this was your movie, you get the pleasure of going first.
Okay,
sir.
and like I said before, in all the other shows, I always look at Roger Ebert's
Oh yeah,
synopsis, and he says, "Big Hero 6 deserves praise for promoting an anti-violence message amid mayhem that, save for the fire, doesn't physically maim anyone or involve guns or traditional weapons. An action-adventure that puts brain ahead of brawn as a valued commodity is always reason to celebrate. Add the considerable heart that Baymax contributes with elements borrowed from Wall-E and Up, and you have a winner."
Yeah.
And so he gave it 3 stars
Wow.
out of his 5.
That's 3 stars out of 5, which is kind of low, I guess. For
It's a cartoon.
yeah, I guess
That's my thing. Like, and I hate to be this way, but for a cartoon, cartoons are automatically going to start out with a lower score. For
Yeah.
me. Not a whole lot lower, but they
Yeah.
do take a knock.
What I really like about animation movies though is they're right around an hour and a half.
Not all.
But
Typically.
the majority of like
Yeah.
Disney and Pixar movies, they're like almost 90 to 100 minutes.
Yeah, which
About
is a
that.
good movie.
Which is
Yeah.
I like that style just because it's easy to smash out and away you go.
Well, what is it that Hitchcock said? The length of a movie should be directly proportional to the size of one's bladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human bladder.
Next
yeah.
movie I picked, by the way, is 4 hours for you. By the way,
Oh,
okay,
here we go. The Postman, Waterworld.
I actually got Gone with the Wind, so
Brazil.
Oh.
let's
That's
go.
what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
So,
Brazil.
so my thoughts. This movie has everything a kids movie should have, as I said before. It's funny and watchable time and time again. Has a good message without throwing it in your face like some animated features do, and it pulls at the heartstrings, I can watch it a few times a year without it becoming a chore to watch.
Yeah.
And because of this, I'm going to give it a 7.
7. Okay.
So a solid 7. So Eddie,
Okay, so like I said, when it comes to animations, typically they start out a little lower for me. This movie though, I enjoyed it. I mean, I like kids movies for the most part. I mean, I have kids, so if I hated kids movies, it would just be a punishment every time I went to sit down with them. And there are movies that are a punishment to watch. This one is not one of those movies. Neither is Wreck-It Ralph. I like Wreck-It Ralph and all that type of stuff too.
Yeah.
But I would say if I'm rating this against movies, and I know you guys don't do that, but for me, if I'm rating them against all movies, it's a little bit lower than if I was to rate it just against cartoons, like cartoon movies.
so which one are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to rate against, because this is all movies.
Against all movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I was rating against cartoons, it would be a little higher score. I would say that this is probably, I'm going to go a 6.2. 6.2.
6.2. Okay.
Yeah, that feels pretty good to me, because Baymax in particular, there's parts of it that I want to cry, and that's that to me. Like whenever they can poke me in the heart like that, I'm like, damn it, you found it again. Like that just
And Eddie's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it was stabbed.
Yeah, the ending scene was always it's always a heart wrencher.
Just let me save you. Just
For
do
the record,
this.
I did not cry.
Yeah, well,
We didn't expect you
You
to
might
say
not
that.
have a soul. So.
Bullshit.
I mean, I identified the parts where they go, oh, they want me to cry.
Oh my god.
If I
But I'm not gonna
if I
do
was
it.
a human, I would cry here.
Yeah.
0100110.
You're sure you're not a robot too?
My tears come in only 2 flavors: hydraulic and extra lubed.
Speaking of, real quick, you made me think of something. The logo for the company, the Cray Industries, is that what it was? Cray Industries.
Yes.
The mockingbird symbol.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that was from?
Yeah, it's from Hunger Games.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's
It
from
looks, it
otherwise.
looks just like
it's
the Hunger
the
Games.
Swift logo, the Swift programming language logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, it kind of looked like the Mockingjay from Hunger Games. so.
The Swift programming language, like named after Taylor Swift. 2002. Oh, okay.
It's
No.
the Apple Swift.
Oh, okay.
Look
nice.
up the Hunger Games logo.
Oh,
it looks
yeah,
it
I'll
looks
have to look that up.
a lot
Well, and
Mockingjay.
similar to that. Yeah.
and speaking
Mockingjay.
of that, I did like the Terminator 2 elements in it too, where the kid is teaching the robot about human nature and
Yes.
and humor and things like that. The fist bump
Yeah.
Yes.
thing that I actually had the fist bump as my
you did.
text tones for a
Oh, that's
long
right.
time.
I forgot about that.
It was like
No.
the la 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 la. That one. I had that as my text tone for a while.
So Kyle, what about
Yeah,
you?
Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I think this movie, I always enjoy watching it. Now, I did forget a lot of parts just because it's been a while since I've seen this movie. But again, it was an enjoyable movie to watch. Again, like when I see a movie that's an hour and a half, I'm gonna like it a little bit more just because I guess I'm part of that generation where I like things fast and over beginning and over and done with.
You
know?
must have hated The Irishman.
Yeah, well, I actually really did like The Irishman. But
But you watched it over the course of like 5 hours, off
yeah,
and on.
Yes,
Hey, I
did.
watched it over the course of 2 days. I'm not lying.
Yeah, I did have to stop it just because it's like, okay, I got dogs to let out and everything. But anyway, with Big Hero 6, I'm going to rate it a 7.5.
Okay, so Kyle gives it a 7.5. And then so for me, yeah, I generally enjoyed it. I don't watch animation movies very often. I think I've seen like the first Toy Story. I don't think I've seen any. No, I've seen the second one. I haven't seen any of the other ones.
Oh man, you're missing out.
There's like 3
Yeah,
and 4
yeah.
now, right?
There's
I think they're
4.
coming out with 5 too or something. But yeah, it I don't think I would go out of my way to watch it again.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would like recommend it to friends. Just
But I guess if they
unless
really
they really like
an
animation
yeah.
movies, yeah, then I would.
Like
Right.
the very specific question that Eddie asked you.
Yes,
earlier.
exactly. Do you know any good animation movies? I'm like, oh yeah, well, Big Hero 6 good, and
That you may have just watched recently. No.
yeah, exactly. Because that would probably be the only ones I could think of at the time. But it was good. I think I'm probably gonna give it a 6.5 as well.
Okay.
Nice.
So with that in mind, that leaves Big Hero 6 with a 6.8
All right.
Not bad.
as an average.
Not bad. It's pretty close to Eddie's score.
Yeah, no, it's right there.
It's not, even on movies I like, I end up being the lowest damn score. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, you were 6.2. I was 6.5.
Yeah, but he was the lowest score.
Am I wrong in thinking a 6.2 is still lower than a 6.5?
You're right, but it's close.
It's close. It's in the same realm.
It's just funny to me. Even on movies that I'm like, I kind of like this movie.
I thoroughly
6.2.
enjoyed this.
Fucking everybody else has scored
0.7.
9.8. Like,
No.
what's wrong with you?
I'm telling you, the world will end if Eddie ever gives a movie a 10.
God.
Oh man, it's I can.
I'm still waiting
It
to
would
see
have to be
10,
a
by the
perfect
way.
movie,
Yeah,
and that'll never happen in his
No.
eyes.
yeah, it's true.
So-
There is no such thing as a perfect movie.
All right, so the last thing we got to do before we get out of here is to spin the wheel. So we have to decide whether Eddie or I is going to pick, and then
It's gonna
Got
be.
my eye on
he's
you, sir.
eyeing me.
It's gonna be
Got
Eddie.
my eye on you.
I have a feeling it's going to be me and romance. Because when we were coming up with the idea of this show, and I said it's going to be me and romance, it hit it, 3 times in a row? Remember?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
When we
So-
took it as a test.
So
Yeah.
you think you in romance? I think me in romance. Let's see.
All right.
Well, I think myself in romance.
let's see who's gonna actually pick this movie.
Okay, here we go.
So such a sad
So
spin.
I know.
Justin.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
Didn't.
Here we go.
Romance.
All right.
I don't even think I have a romance movie picked.
You better find one
I've
quick.
got,
You're
I've got
fine.
two if you want to borrow one.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
see what your poison is.
It's going to be Western.
Here we go.
Ooh, a lot of genres.
Sports film.
Sports film.
Hey.
Sweet.
Sports.
That's actually the one I wanted.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm going to pick The Color of Money
Ooh, yeah, that's a good
Okay.
one.
from 1986.
Yeah, a little, oh, God. What's his name? No, it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's Tom Cruise and Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Paul
Jesus
Newman.
Christ.
Color of Money.
Yeah, I was
that.
thinking Al Pacino for some reason. I'm like, no, it's not Al Pacino.
Yeah, it's a Scorsese
It's
movie.
a pool movie. It's a
got a,
billiards movie. You ever
Got
seen
a
it?
synopsis?
Yeah, I got a synopsis here. Fast Eddie Felson teaches a cocky but immensely talented protege the ropes of pool hustling, which in return inspires him to make an unlikely comeback.
Nice.
Nice.
Have you guys seen this movie?
Yeah.
I have not seen this movie.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh,
I
wow.
have not.
This is probably one of my favorite movies. This is probably my top 5,
This is a good movie.
I would say.
This is a good movie. I think I've seen this movie 27 times.
Oh,
So
damn.
it's a good movie.
Well, make it 28, sir.
Yeah,
There we
I used
go.
to watch it all the time
You
back
watch
in high
it 3
school.
times in preparation for the show. So
Make
you'll
it
be at
30,
even
sir.
30.
Yeah, no,
right.
I used to watch it all the time back when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
I used to love this movie.
Yeah. So, all right. So go ahead and go to realgood.com. That's REEL good.com to you can look up The Color of Money. You can see all the streaming places to watch it, and then you can check back with us on our next episode and hear our review of it.
Yeah.
So with that, thanks for listening, everybody. Don't forget to go to our website, AmericanPodcasting.net. Visit our Patreon. You can get to it from the website. Vote us, rate us, do all the other things you can do on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
and all
give us
that
some
stuff.
feedback, too.
Give us
Rate
some
us, yeah.
feedback. It's great. Email us, whatever. We're open to all that. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Later.